A reading from Judith, chapter 10. When Judith had finished her prayer to the God of Israel, she stood up, called her slave woman, and went down into the house as she always did on Sabbaths and festival days. She took off the sackcloth and her widow's clothes, took a bath, and put on rich perfumes. She brushed her hair, tied a ribbon around it, and dressed herself in the fine clothes she used to wear on joyful occasions when her husband Manasseh was still alive. She put on sandals and all her finest jewelry, rings and earrings, and bracelets on her wrists and ankles. She made herself so beautiful that she was sure to attract the attention of any man who saw her. Judith gave her slave woman a leather bag of wine and a jar of oil to carry. She filled a bag with roasted barley, cakes of dried figs, and several loaves of bread baked according to Jewish food laws. She carefully wrapped all the food and dishes and gave them to her slave. Then the two women left the house and went to the gates of Bethulia, where they found Uzziah and the town officials Shabris and Sharmes standing guard. When the men saw Judith after she had changed clothes and put on makeup, they were struck by her beauty and said to her, "May the God of our ancestors bless you and make your plan successful, so that you may bring glory to Jerusalem and victory to Israel." Judith prayed and then said, "Order the gates to be opened for me. I am on my way to do what we were talking about." Then they ordered the young men to open the gates for her, and Judith and her slave left the city. The men watched her as she went down the mountain into the valley until she was out of sight. As the two women were walking through the valley, an Assyrian patrol met them. They arrested Judith and questioned her. "What is your nationality? Where did you come from? And where are you going?" "I am a Hebrew," she answered, "but I am running away from the Israelites because God is going to let you destroy them. I am on my way to see Holofernes, the general in command of your army, to give him some reliable information. I can show him how to advance into the mountains and take control of the entire region without a single casualty." The men stared at her because she was so beautiful. They listened to her story and said, "You have saved your life by coming down here to see our general. Some of us will take you to his headquarters and present you to him. Do not be afraid of him. Just tell him what you have told us, and he will treat you well." They assigned 100 men to escort Judith and her slave to the headquarters of Holofernes. There was great commotion in the Assyrian camp as news of Judith's arrival spread from tent to tent. While she stood outside the tent of Holofernes waiting to be presented to him, many Assyrian soldiers came and stood around her. They were greatly impressed by her beauty and wondered what kind of people the Israelites were. "Who can have contempt for people whose women are so beautiful?" they asked one another. "We had better kill all the men, or else these Jews will be able to charm the whole world." Then Holofernes' bodyguard and his personal servants came out and led Judith into the tent. Holofernes was resting on his bed under a mosquito net woven of purple and gold thread and decorated with emeralds and other precious stones. When the men told him that Judith had arrived, he came to the outer part of the tent. Silver lamps were carried ahead of him. When Judith came near him and his servants, they were all astonished at her beauty. She bowed down to the ground before Holofernes, but his servants helped her to her feet. The word of the Lord. A reading from Judith, chapter 11. Holofernes said to Judith, "Don't worry, there's no need for you to be afraid. I have never hurt anyone who was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar, king of the whole world. Even now, if your people up in the mountains had not insulted me, I would not have declared war on them. They have brought all this trouble on themselves. But tell me, why have you left them and come to us? You will be safe here. No need to be afraid. We have spared your life tonight, and you are in no danger for the future. No one here will harm you. Everyone will treat you well, like all other servants of my master, Nebuchadnezzar." Then Judith said to Holofernes, "Allow me to speak to you, my lord, and please listen to what I have to say. I will tell you the truth. If you follow my advice, God will do something great with you, and my lord will not fail in his plan. For I swear to you, by the life and strength of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the whole world, who sent you to bring order to all the subjects of his kingdom, that not only have you made people serve him, but because of you, even the wild animals, the livestock, and the birds obey him. Because of you, Nebuchadnezzar and his entire kingdom will prosper. We have heard how wise and clever you are. The whole world knows that you are the most competent, skilled, and accomplished general in the whole Assyrian Empire. Achior was rescued by the men of Bethulia and has told us what he said at your war council. Please, sir, do not dismiss lightly what Achior told you, but take it seriously, because it is true. No one can harm or conquer our people unless they sin against their God. But you will not suffer any setbacks, nor will you fail to achieve your goal. When the Israelites sin and make their God angry, they will die. Their food supply has already run out, and the water shortage has become serious. So they have decided to kill their livestock and eat foods that God's law clearly forbids them to eat. They have decided to eat the wheat set aside from the early harvest and the tithes of wine and oil, which are holy and are reserved for the priests who serve God in Jerusalem. The rest of us are forbidden even to touch this sacred food. But since the people in Jerusalem have already broken this law, the people of our town have sent messengers to the council there, requesting permission to do the same. On the day that they receive permission and actually eat the food, you will be able to destroy them. As soon as I learned about this, I ran away from my people. God has sent me to do something with you that will amaze everyone in the entire world who hears about it. Sir, I am a religious woman. I worship the God of heaven day and night. I will stay here in your camp, and each night I will go out into the valley to pray to God, and he will tell me when the Israelites have sinned. As soon as I find out, I will come and tell you, and you can march out with your whole army. The Israelites will not be able to defend themselves against you. I will guide you through the central part of the land of Judah until we come to Jerusalem, where I will crown you king in the center of the city. You will scatter the people of Jerusalem like sheep without a shepherd. Not even a dog will dare to growl at you. God has revealed these things to me in advance and has sent me to report them to you. Holofernes and his personal servants were pleased with what Judith had said, and they admired her wisdom. She must be the wisest and most beautiful woman in the world, they commented to one another. Then Holofernes said to her, "It's a good thing that God has sent you here to bring us victory and to destroy those who have insulted King Nebuchadnezzar. Not only are you beautiful, but you know how to make a speech. If you do as you have promised, your God will be my God. You will live in King Nebuchadnezzar's palace and will be famous throughout the world." The word of the Lord.